Hi, I'm Craig. It's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad. Brad, we did it. Episode 38. 38.
38. Wow.
38.
We're really moving now.
We are rolling every day. I'll tell you what, Captain Hogwash in the YouTube comments said 37 in a row. In a row? I said in a row. And he responded back with a callback to Screw Attack. He said, something original every freaking weekday. That's right.
That's true. We've said this many times. We don't even know how the show's going to go. We end up talking sometimes. We talk way too long. And the shows at the beginning were, under 30 minutes, but some of them have gotten pretty lengthy here. And I think that's a good deal. I mean, we've been going live for some of these things and having good chats and conversations with the folks watching live. So it's good stuff.
That's right. And as we are tonight, we are live over on twitch.tv/Craig Skits. If you're watching over on YouTube, come on over and join us over here. We are live tonight because we got a knockout of the health bar earlier today on my 1 to 3 stream, which was amazing. It was a come from behind effort in the last 10 minutes. The legends pulled through and we're able to make it happen. So now we're here live tonight. We go live with no pre-show. We're ready to rock. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day. I'm very excited to be doing this with you guys.
And hey, if we don't make it to episode 39, the internet's going to blow up.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
If the Lord puts his mighty paw down on our shoulder and says, as he looks us in the eye, you may have one more show. We'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 39. I can't wait. My God. All right. So look, it's we're going to have a really, really excellent show for you guys tonight. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, we're going to do our best to get Brad some new internet today during this episode. We've had several new patrons the last few days, which has been
fantastic.
Great because people have been coming in and they've been supporting, which has been great over at patreon.com/Craig Skits, because why? They want to get you internet that's literally better than 1.5 megabyte upload speed. So maybe you'll be able to broadcast in full 2021 high definition 720p. Brad, do you realize that 720p became pretty regular in the year 2008?
Well, you know what? We looked at internet options on our Uverse plan is what we've got. And it seemed like we had their most standard package. And I was like, are you sure? Because this seemed pretty offensive on the internet the other day.
It's extremely offensive. Yes.
Yeah.
What you have right now makes me want to puke.
Well, I'm going to do my best to get some new of this internet, but we'll see.
We'll work there. We'll work there. Look, here's the thing. In addition to getting Brad some good internet, one thing that I really want to talk about tonight, this is extremely important, is the Bring It Back Challenge. Let's go. Look, the Bring It Back Challenge, if you don't know, well, Brad, you tell everybody about the Bring It Back Challenge.
All right. Bring It Back Challenge is where we invite you to bring back an old phrase or a slang that has kind of gone out of style over the years, and film yourself using that slang or phrase that we choose. Hashtag it, Bring It Back Challenge. Put it up on YouTube or Twitter. We'll find it. And yeah, that's basically what it is. We'll feature it here on the show. And, Craig and I do not invite you to do things that we wouldn't do ourselves. So we're in on it too. Our first Bring It Back Challenge was up your butt and around the corner. If you remember that phrase growing up as a kid, some of you may not remember and might have been introduced to a whole new thing. And now you're just walking around your house saying up your butt and around the corner.
That's right.
So it might be something new for you. This week, we've got Psych.
Just want to take a step back. Up your butt and around the corner may actually be new for several people, both in the verbal sense and the physical sense. So we'll just leave it at that. Here's an example of psych that Brad did on his wife.
What are you doing?
Hey,
What?
you got some food on your face.
Do I really?
Here it comes. Yeah! And that's the response that we expect. It's the hashtag Bring It Back Challenge, which leads me to the YouTube comment of the day.
That's a great echo effect.
Thanks, appreciate that. I should get a real echo effect, but instead of just doing it myself. Hey, it comes from Arcade151, says, Craig, Brad, this is the worst channel I've ever subscribed to.
That's terrible.
Psych!
Oh!
Best
Snap.
Oh man, it's a hashtag. Like double. There it is right there. Psych. He says best content like this is sadly dwindling down over the years. That's right. We're here to make you feel good about life, Arcade. Hey, Arcade. I just want to let you know something. That comment is the worst comment I saw yesterday. Psych. Love it.
It's great.
Oh my God.
Good
Got him. Got him.
Yep. All right.
I'll tell you what. Look at all the wonderful legends hanging out in the chat tonight, which is great. You guys popping on in. Once again, never a pre-show on this. We just go straight live and start talking, which is awesome. I see Vilter coming to Psych. Vilter is an expert at the hashtag Bring It Back Challenge. We saw Vilter and his pups have an intense relationship when it comes to the Bring It Back Challenge. I'll tell you what.
It's good stuff. I'm proud of Vilter. Yeah.
Oh man, Executioner brings up the point that we need more mariachi music when we show the hashtag. I'm sorry, Executioner. That's racial appropriation. We cannot do that right now, unfortunately.
We get kicked off the internet for something like that.
The internet police will come and they'll kick us off. So we'll sooner than later, you know. Yeah. So but there you go. Anyways, yes, but guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's going to be a great one. We are well on our way to rocking and rolling. I'm glad you guys are here. Oh, Tom says, I'm Mexican. I allow it. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Yes. We did it. Awesome. Episode 39. Here we come. Tom, you did it. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I'm glad you're with us. I'm writing down Tom Nanda's name. Tom, 17 points. No, I'm sorry. 27 points for you, Tom Nandas, just for being a Mexican. There it is.
All right. That's fantastic. Good deal. We're celebrating everybody on this show. We love it. Let us know what your ethnicity is, and we'll give you some points too.
And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna reward everybody equal points.
Yeah.
For your
Of course.
Why would I not?
In the
ridiculous.
Yeah. Let us know though. Let's celebrate the diversity on the Craig and Brad weekdays show.
Equal opportunity points.
Yeah.
Equal opportunities for everybody.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Good stuff.
How do we not have a zillion people watch us every night when we go live? They're like, what are they going to say now? And so we have people unsubscribing because they're all like pussy willows waving in the wind. It's crazy.
They're like, whoa, what? 17, what is it? Equal opportunity points? I'm out of here.
27, actually.
Or 27. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. But man, I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, tonight we're actually going to do kind of a interesting topic, which I was thinking about this today. I consider myself part of the, 99.9% of America that's pretty normal, right? Politics is not something that I really pay attention to on a day-to-day basis, but it's something that slowly creeps in because, it's the world. But it slowly creeps in, and I hear it from my periphery. I try not to involve myself with it too much because at the end of the day, politics is something that it, as shown through social media, just absolutely just total boils down to I want to be right, you want to be right, and everyone's going to hate each other for having a conversation, right? Mm-hmm. That has been further proven a zillion times. But tomorrow is a big day in the United States world, in our little country we have here. When I didn't even realize this. I didn't even realize tomorrow's the day where we're getting a new president. That's a big deal. We're getting
inauguration. It's inauguration day, Craig.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's I've been as I've just been on YouTube and Google and just various websites, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what it has to do with my search history or what. But I'm getting inundated with the idea that we're going to go to civil war soon.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a good chance.
What?
Hey, everybody, look, the world is divided as this split screen that we've got on our show right here. You're on that side and I'm on this side. you know, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. And if we can't agree on anything, then we must fight.
And even if you don't agree with me, you're wrong at all times. That's the thing. It's just fascinating because you know, when you hear the term like civil war, right? There are, just to be clear, there are wars happening all the time throughout the world. Pretty much at any time there's a war happening in some way, shape, or form, right? Right now, from what I understand, the world's actually kind of free of war. There's not a whole lot going on, right?
There hasn't been a war in a couple of years, Craig.
At least the United States hasn't been in any wars.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Outside of ourselves.
For us here,
yeah. So people saying it's about time. I legit wonder if we're going to get flagged on YouTube for talking about this. Like,
you know, I don't know. Here's what I do know. I was going to talk to you about this because we talk about how divided the country is, and we played my song last night. God Help Us All was a song I wrote last week, and then I wrote it, recorded it, released it, made a video for it, all over like basically the span of like 3 or 4 days. I was like, you know, I'm going to put this out, and I felt like I needed to get some stuff off my chest and just hold up a mirror to society. I wasn't really trying to make a left or right point. I was just sort of, the whole point of the song is, look what we've become, you know, and this is who we are right now. And I don't know of anything else to say than God help us all. You know, that's kind of the point of the song. So I've been sharing it, and I've had a really, really great response from it. Only 2 thumbs down so far, so go give it a thumbs up. So anyway, it's going well. I get this comment though on Twitter, and this girl goes, this is garbage, it's full of hate. And I'm like,
your song is full of hate?
Yeah, she said the song was full of hate, and I was like, well, I didn't say anything. I just in my head, I was like, well, any hate that you saw in there was literally images of the world of the last year. So it's just true, you know, any hate that was projected onto you. So somebody else commented below her and said, I don't think you saw the right video. And she, and I was like, well, thank you. And then she responded, oh, it's just too negative. We need to join together and be positive with each other. And I'm like, whoa, you just jumped on here and told me my song was trash. Like, she literally used the sound trash. And then she goes to another 2 comments later, and she's like, we all need to get along now. We don't need this negativity. And I'm like, you literally just started the negativity. And that is how divided we are. It's like we gotta get along. Don't you understand? God, I hate you.
That's amazing. I love it. I love everything about that story. Real quick, Mark, thanks so much for resubbing Prime for 8 months. Real quick, I do want to point out Fed. Wrong one. Fed came in and said, I can't believe Craig docked me so many points on YouTube right after I dropped him tons of bits. Listen, Fed, I'm going to tell you this right now. All right. I am an equal opportunity point deductor. All right. Regardless of the bits. But with that said, you came in right now watching as we go. So I'm going to reward you with 7,000 bits.
Woo!
Points. 7,000 bit points. There you go.
Say what?
There you go. But yeah, this is interesting. Toplay says, from what I can tell, the signs of civil war are only apparent on the internet. There it is right there. If you step outside and go to Walmart or even you're allowed to go during this pandemic, there is 0 symptoms of any kind of civil unrest. People still get along with each other in person, at least here in Southeast Texas. Right. You know, that's interesting, right? And Toplays, I appreciate that. I think there is definitely a sentiment to that. The idea that that there are, you know, what you see online, and this goes back to a common theme we hear on the show every single day, is what you see on the internet is the absolute worst of people, right? And I mean that like endearingly and the best way possible, right? What you see on social media is the worst side of things. I'm talking about people yelling at each other, but I'm also talking about the idea of the selfie mentality, of getting out your selfies and taking pictures and staging your life, staging this facade. That is not a positive aspect of anything, right? Yeah. Like, no, you should present yourself in a real fashion, but that's not that doesn't get you likes, you
Yeah.
know? And I truly feel that way. I truly
Yeah.
feel that way. I was talking about this on my stream earlier today about Twitter, and there was a legend who came in who said I deleted Twitter, I deleted Facebook, I pretty much deleted everything. And I said, well, how does it feel? And he says, I legit feel like I'm in detox, you know,
Uh-huh.
like I got out of detox, like I was on a drug and I got off it. And it goes back to like, yeah, you were. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Over when was it? Last year, around all of the beginning of the at the George Floyd stuff, when that all started going down and the protests started happening, and when if you were online, you were seeing some of the nastiest, dirtiest, angry conversations between your friends and people, and a lot of racial conversation. And I take a walk every night, take our dog out, and I went for a walk one of those nights, right around like, right when it was like, and I was walking by my neighbors, it was a nice evening, one of those nights. And I was walking by, my black neighbors and my brown neighbors and, everybody in between, because we all live around each other. And you know what? We all walked by each other and we smiled and we said, hello, how are you doing this evening? And we went on with our way. I was like, wow, here's real life.
Right.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Why does it come into this portal and get so bad? I know we keep talking about it on this show, but like, I just like that lady that tonight that commented on my song. I'm like, why did you even do that? What in your brain was like, I got to say something.
Right.
This is trash. By the way, let's get along.
Right. By the way, I would like to, speaking of that, right? I have an open invite, literally, for anybody who's ever criticized me ever online to come on this show and to talk. Like, literally, I would love to talk to you. If you have criticism of me, whether it's professionally, whether it's what you think I believe, by all means, I would love to talk to you. Love to talk to you. Because there's this thought process that when people don't hear what they want to hear, they hear that that only one side is being portrayed, right? When I say I want open discussion, I want open discussion, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm not providing open discussion, you know who calls me on it? My wife, right? And because she said, hey, like she said in the past, I think you pulled in people that are a little more towards your views, or towards you think, and I've had to, she did that for a show and I was like, oh crap, I should probably adjust that. Right. I didn't think I was at the time, but I think it's a natural thing to do. So, but I have an open invite literally to anybody who's ever been critical of me online, because I would love to talk to you. And because the best thing to do as an adult is to talk it out. Right.
Well, that's the problem, Craig, is most people don't want to have the conversation. They just want to say their little thing. Right. And then, they just want to spat. It's like a loogie. It's like, I spit on you. And then they just want to run away. They don't like,
Right. Well, so here this is interesting. Homer King says, Twitter, for example, makes up only 3% of America's commentary, apparently. Therefore, only the extremes and commentaries. Right. Well, what's fascinating is I pulled this up. I want to share my screen with you real fast. 10 facts about Twitter. Here we go. So this skews a little bit higher than what was just said, but it says 1 in 5 U.S. adults say they use Twitter. This is according to 2019. I'm sure that's lower right now, but the share of Americans who use the platform remained consistent over the past several years, and it's similar to the share of who uses Snapchat and WhatsApp, but is much larger. But a much larger share of U.S. adults use YouTube and Facebook. Almost 70% use Facebook right now. This is obviously in 2019. So, yes, it's interesting. Twitter users tend to be younger and have more education and higher incomes than U.S. adults overall. Interesting. Twitter users in the U.S. are more likely than U.S. adults to identify as Democrats and less likely to say they are very conservative. I think we've seen that for sure. Twitter stands out as one of the social media sites with the most news-focused users. Oh yes, most U.S. adult Twitter users don't tweet very often. A large majority of tweets come from a very small minority of users. That's fascinating. Yeah, that's fascinating. Top 10% of tweeters take up 80% of all tweets from U.S. users. Man, that is crazy. D Pipes, thanks so much. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome on in. While Twitter is the most public-facing platform, 30% of its adult users in the U.S. keep their accounts private. Overall, 42% of the U.S. By the way, I'm seeing these for the first time, by the way. Overall, 42% of the U.S. adults on Twitter say they use the site to discuss politics at least some of the time. I bet this is from 2019. I'm guessing that this number drastically increased in the last year and a half, for sure.
80%.
For sure. U.S. politics, U.S. political leaders have a sizable following amongst Americans who are on the platform. About half the U.S. who follow Donald Trump on Twitter view him favorably, compared to just 24% of adult Twitters who don't follow the president. Who obviously doesn't matter anymore. Most of the links shared on Twitter come from automated accounts or bots. Wow, that's pretty fascinating. So, it's just an interesting thing. Obviously, I thought the first stat in general about the 22% saying they use Twitter, but 70% are on Facebook. Pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So what's going to happen, Craig?
Oh, Homer King says, sorry, I meant only 3% have engaged in political commentary, though. Well, we'll see. What's going to happen? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, here's Vilter says, but when someone comes across as batshit crazy, how do you reason with that? Calmly, right? And having dealt with this personally, right, with batshit crazy people on Twitter and on Discord and in other places, you just try to deal with them calmly, because ultimately, and here's what I found by doing this: it's not meant to piss them off when you speak to them calmly, but more often than not, it's going to piss them off because they want to get in a pissing match. That's what they want to do. They want to start yelling and screaming about things, and it goes back to the conversation. Brad, I had I think it was on a stream, was not with you. I had somebody come in and they were really upset with me and said, look, I think you only say one side of the argument and you don't want to have a conversation. And I said, I'd love to have a conversation. Feel free to state your thoughts. And they said, well, you don't want to have a conversation because you're not open to having your mind changed. And I think, have we talked about this before on this?
Yeah, that was the clip you shared, right?
Right. And he was like, you're not open to changing your mind. And I was like, well, that's not what a conversation is, And that, I think that kind of goes off what Vilter was saying, it's, people just want to fight and they want to argue. And that's kind of what it is. Adam from YouTube, what's going on, Adam? Good to see you. Hopefully I see you in the 1 to 3 stream, buddy. I've been missing you. Says, let's do this like war games and not play the game at all. Oh man, that'd be awesome. I agree. There's nothing good comes from it. Nothing good can come from it. Executioner is asking for a UHF commentary track. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. If you got me and Craig doing commentary on UHF,
yes,
that'd be a good day.
Okay, so what's gonna happen? I don't know. Like apparently there's like a bunch of military in the Capitol now or something. I've just kind of, like I said, just from afar, I've just kind of seen this.
So from what I understand, there's about like 35,000 troops there right now, and there's pictures of them online of them they're like lounging around at this point. There's so many of them. They're in the hallways, like taking naps, leaning on each other. There's so many, and I don't know why they're there. I haven't gotten a good answer on why they're all there. I don't know if it's to be protective because of what happened 2 weeks ago. But like they're all there, just like what is going on? This is unprecedented. And like, why weren't that many troops there 2 weeks ago when there's like 1 million people in the streets? They knew that there was going to be 1 million people in the streets.
Man, that's scary. That's legit scary right there. Just like that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. I've just seen this pop up a few times, and getting pizza. But I guess we're going to find out.
I mean, it's like wow, that's crazy. Like, so, and this is like I said, I'm not like crazy political guy, but it's my understanding that isn't Biden's inauguration, isn't it going to be like a virtual thing? He's not doing it out
Right.
in
That's the other thing.
mall.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a virtual inauguration. I think like everybody who has to be there is going to be there. I assume it'll be, other former presidents and things like that. The news media will be there. But that whole pit area where everybody is usually filled in is now filled in with like thousands and thousands of flags. And I think there's going to be like a light show pointing upward in the sky. And which is interesting to me because I'm like a few months ago, what was it? Oh, it was on 9/11. They were like, they were like talking about, we can't have lights, the lights that shoot up during 9/11 because of COVID. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what happened? This is what we were talking about the other day with the inconsistencies with the COVID stuff.
Wait. Take a step back. You can't have lights shooting up in the sky because of COVID?
They were going to cancel the 9/11 light. They shoot up 2 lights every year,
right,
to represent the Twin Towers, and they were going to cancel that this year because of COVID stuff. And I don't remember the exact reason, but you're like, why? It's lights, and they ended up doing it. But I saw this, and I saw a picture of what they plan to do with like some lights shooting up from the ground, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm not focusing on you can't have lights during this time period. I'm focusing on like what was different then and what's different now. My question right now is what the heck is going on all around? That's my question, Craig. Not just the lights. I don't want to focus on the lights. Why are there flags? Why are there troops? Why is it, for a virtual event? What's going on in the world? And is it leading to a civil war? And what's that civil war going to look like if it happens?
Well, okay, so let's talk about that though, because the idea of what a civil war would look like in the year 2021, it's not going to look like it did in 1865.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so like I
technology's changed a little bit.
Right. Have you seen the movie They Shall Not Grow Old? It's a movie by Peter Jackson. Here, pull this up real quick if people want to see it. So Peter Jackson, filmmaker, he put out this movie, and it's called They Shall Not Grow Old, and it's about these British soldiers that joined join the military to go fight in World War I, and it's all this old footage, and they colorized it. They added sound effects. And they were able to get people to read the lips of the soldiers in the videos and do like voiceover work. Mm-hmm. And so it really sucks you in to what it was like being there. All the interviews are told by people who are really there, from archival interviews. So I was looking at this. I watched it on a plane ride once, and I was fascinated by it. It really is a fascinating film. And I'm looking at this, and I pull up pictures like this, and I see these hard men that had no cushion in their life, right? I see guys like this risking everything, literally everything. They didn't even have much, but they risked everything, right?
Right.
And I see these guys, and then I see this guy. I'm like, this guy's going to lead the way. Like, right. Like, these are the guys that are going to, like, obviously we have all the troops. We have military in our country, but in a civil war, you imagine there's going to be a lot more civilians that are butting heads with each other at some point, right? Well, and you're going to have Buffalo guy here and whoever the other super soft, let's talk it out guy on the other side. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. The thing that we have, right? We don't have warriors in this country. We have keyboard warriors. There's a difference between the two. And now, instead of people aiming down, listen, we have plenty of. To be clear, like, I have nothing but respect for our military, right? And our servicemen and women. I have nothing but respect for them. Like, that's pretty much that is where I stand on this, right?
Absolutely.
And I've said that publicly many times. I'll say that to anybody who wants to have a conversation about it. I don't know why you wouldn't support our men and women who support us. With that said, that's a very small percentage of people in this country who have the balls to do that. I'm not one of those. I never had the balls to sign up. That's why I appreciate them so much. They're willing to put their bodies, their lives on the line.
Man,
you know?
I had friends in high school that left, straight out of high school that joined, and during that time, I got the phone call from the Army, and they asked me, and I considered it for a day because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. I got the phone call, and they were like, "Well, what do you want to do, son?" And I was like, "I play guitar." And he's like, "Well, we have a band in the Army," and I'm like, yeah, but like that's the thing, like
Band of brothers.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. My friends that went and they fought in Fallujah. They were stationed in Fallujah. This was all after 9/11, and they came back different guys, and I have mad respect for them. They went and did that with their life, and they came back. They survived, and they have stories they'll never want to talk about.
Right.
And like when it comes to those guys, like I am weak. I am nothing to those guys. Like so much respect. So
Jeremy says Jimi Hendrix was an Army musician. It's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Pretty fascinating stuff. Adam also says, Adam, thank you so much for the bits, by the way. Hopefully you can make it on in for one of the streams. And he followed up with, imagine canceling things as simple as a light show. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
It's all canceled at this point. Everything.
Right. Well, it's weird because in this world that we live in of COVID and political unrest and everybody hates everybody because social media, like there have been talks of like, well, the end is near, right? The end is near for for COVID, hopefully by the end of sometime this year, that COVID will be a thing of the past. Things will go back to normal per se, based off of the idea of 75 to 80% of Americans getting vaccinated by that time. That's kind of the idea, and then the rest will be herd immunity and whatever. And we have a new administration coming in literally tomorrow, right? And well, I guess will be today for those watching on YouTube. And so we'll see, right? It's literally the start of a new era. But I agree with you. The idea of like all these soldiers sitting in our nation's capital with fences going up and guns being handed out, like what are they doing? Like they clearly know something.
Yeah.
Someone in the government knows something that we don't know. And it's really weird to think about because as we record this here on January 19th, the show going up on January 20th on YouTube, even when the show premieres, right? This show premieres on YouTube in the morning. Things could drastically change by the afternoon. What time's the inauguration? Like 2 maybe in the afternoon, something like that?
I think it's at noon.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
So like by the
Eastern time. Yeah.
Okay. So like 11 a.m. our time. So by the time this show will premiere at 10:30. So literally as I'm speaking right now, when this show is live, the inauguration will be happening. I've been premiering the episodes at 10:30 in the morning. So we are 33 minutes into this thing. As of this second, the inauguration will be happening. And like, it's weird to think that in the future, the extremely close future, within hours, things could go absolutely crazy, or they could just be normal. And we just have a bunch of soldiers sitting in the
then they all just go home. And that was that. See, I'm on the ticket of this. We just all lived through 2020. 2021's not off to a good start. So I'm going to go with things are going to get crazy.
Right.
Somehow between the time we record this and time it goes up.
Right.
And I don't know what that means. I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to be normal. Nothing's normal. It's already not normal. So why would it continue to be normal on into the inauguration?
Right. Executioner says 25,000 National Guard is a huge show of force. Yeah, for sure. I mean, but like, what are you showing force against?
Yeah. Like, I understand if they're like, well, we just had it 2 weeks ago, a big old bunch of people down here, and they got in, but like,
That was organized for like, wasn't it organized for like months?
like they knew they were coming,
Right.
like wouldn't like. Why do you need 35? Like, however many it is. I think I've seen 20. I've seen different numbers: 20, 25,000, 35,000. You need that many,
Right.
That's
Well, I saw
crazy.
something where it's like 10 times the amount of people that are in Afghanistan right now. There's like
Yeah.
2,500 people or something like that in Afghanistan, and there's like 10 times the amount in our capital.
Yeah.
And if they're in our capital, like you're hearing, it's like, and you hear these things, right? You hear these things on the internet, right?
Mhm.
Does it mean anything? I don't know, but you hear like every single major American city is considered like a threat right now. There's a threat level high or something like in every major American city, right? They're expecting riots and protests and stuff like that. It's like, really? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, and I could be totally wrong on this. I could be totally wrong, but I just feel like that's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
That if there was some massive organization going around
Yeah.
like looking to cause chaos in every single American city,
Mhm.
we probably would have heard about it.
You would think so. This is my problem with the media. There's not enough. I don't have one answer from the media on why there's so many troops there. They're not even talking about it really. Like, obviously I've seen the pictures, but like I've said before on the show, I look for people that are there. I look for people that are sharing, ground zero pictures. I don't really
Right.
get this information from Fox or CNN. They're not really talking about this stuff. So, and that's my big question right now. I think everybody should be going, what's going on over there?
Right.
What's happening? This is weird. You
This is
don't think it's
interesting.
weird? Okay, I guess it's not weird, but
Right. Well, Ski says, I think it's a misuse of our nation's fighting force, right? And then directly underneath that, Executioner says, it's to guarantee a transition of power required under the Constitution. To me, considering events, it is justified. Fascinating. I would love to hear more about that, Executioner. Like, what events? Was it the events 2 weeks ago? Was it the events over the summer? What events brought you to the point of saying, yeah, I think having 35,000 or 25,000 of our armed men and women in our nation's capital with fences going up with as far as I know, like I said, I haven't received any text or word or a number or phone or any sort of message online saying, come join us in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
they've removed all those things, right? Now, here's another thing. I saw this pop up. There was actually a fight in New York, a brawl or a happening between police and BLM people last night in New York.
Really?
And 11 officers got injured. And this is what I've heard from my sources. I don't have any sources, but I have heard about this story. I haven't had time to look into it. Look it up. See if it's real right here.
What is it? What should I look? New York City BLM?
I guess. But my
Like
question
last
is,
night?
yeah, and my question was, what social media network was that organized on, right? Because it happened, like there's some violence going on there.
All right, here we go. So like this is from ABC7 in New York. 28 arrests, 11 officers hurt in MLK Day protest in Brooklyn, Manhattan.
So this is a
Protest.
local news thing.
Yeah, this is local. The protest in Brooklyn and Lower Manhattan and Martin Luther King Day ended with protesters clashing with police, resulting in more than 24 arrests and 11 officers injured. The protest, so injured, not dead. There's a big difference there.
No,
Obviously.
yeah, that's what I said. They got injured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Protesters started with Barclays Center in Brooklyn and crossed the Brooklyn Bridge to City Hall Park, where they met with a large number of officers. Okay. Demonstrators blocked traffic, threw bottles, vandalized property, and police started making arrests. That all sounds pretty reasonable. Block traffic, threw bottles, vandalized property. So police, then it's like an action here and a reaction, right? An NYPD captain who was among those injured was struck in the head with a bottle. Police Commissioner Dermot Shea blasted the march and the protesters' action. It certainly does not resemble a peaceful protest, he told NY1. You're bringing bottles. You are bringing graffiti. You are spray painting our city. This is our city. You are spray painting to burn our city down.
Wow.
This isn't actions that are caused by police officers. Obviously, it goes. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't see anything about this
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
See, and
But then
I felt bad as I started talking about it because I was like, I've only heard about this. You know, I don't want to spread fake news, but I'm glad you were able to pull it up and verify that, because these things happen and we don't hear about it. And then you go, well, what happened there? There's some violence right there, and destruction and threats and
Right.
and inciting. How did they all organize to meet there? Didn't that just happen? Wasn't that last week's conversation? Why
Right.
are we done with it now all of a sudden?
Right. Real quick, Executioner followed up. Oh, by the way, Pond, thank you so much for being here, man. Appreciate that. Executioner following up. I asked him to give me more thoughts. He says the events of 2 weeks ago and Trump saying multiple times he wouldn't give up power. It's the U.S., the top spender in the world. They won't skip on getting protection for this. Just to play devil's advocate, didn't Trump say he's conceded and he's doing his? Didn't he say that he's like, okay, I'm done?
I don't think he's said the word. I think he's actually said I'll never concede.
Oh.
But he did say we are transitioning to a new what's the word I'm looking for? A new team. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, it says I'm just looking at a quick headline. It says Trump admits his term is ending, but does not concede in farewell video. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't. Like I said, I'm just looking at it from the outsider. And Ski followed up with as someone who was in the military, I know for a fact that if the National Guard gets orders to fire upon civilians, they won't do it because it goes against our oaths as members of the military, which furthers my point of its misuse of the force. They can do the exact same with 200 people. Interesting. It's interesting to hear. I appreciate you popping in with your insights, Ski, for sure. That's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Fed came in and says local news is usually the most informational. They actually do the digging and research, and national news channels just try to copy and paste as fast as possible. And social media for sure. Yeah, that's rough, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Executioner says he said he would transition power, but he has lied a lot while in power. Kind of hard to trust the guy at the moment. Well, hey, like I said, I think you can look at a lot of things that literally every administration has done, right? Starting from Trump all the way down through, whenever, pick whatever politician you want. They're going to say they've done things that they haven't done. And I think most people think about whenever they're looking at campaign promises or things that they say they're going to do, most of the time that stuff isn't going to be done. It's just campaign promises. I think if you just look at history, I'm not defending Trump by any means, right? There are things that Trump said he was going to do. There's things that Obama said he was going to do. There's things that Bush said he was going to do and Clinton was going to do, right? And that never happened, right? But I think it's just it's a political thing, that's what happens. I think lies happen every single day by politicians. Every single
not
day.
just politicians, but again with media. I'm fascinated by the idea that over the last 4 or 5 years, that a lot of people have decided that it's like you can trust politicians and the media. Like for years, I talked about this a few episodes back, where like if you watch the old Superman movies where he's working for the Daily Planet, or if you watch Spider-Man and the head chief's like, we gotta sensationalize this story. Like for years, we've all been like, you don't really want to believe everything you read. You don't really want to believe everything you see on TV. Politicians are pretty egotistical, and they have to be vain to some degree to think they can control the whole city and town or state. And so like we were all sort of in a collective agreement, but somehow this thing shifted over the last 4 or 5 years where it was like you get in a conversation with someone and they're like, well, why would they lie about that? And you're like, because they got to sell a newspaper. I don't know. They've got advertisers.
And I always go back to my journalism hat, right? Like I have a degree in journalism, right? And one of the things that you're taught as a there's a saying in journalism and as in the newspaper and in the news business: if it bleeds, it leads, right? I've said that thousands of times. It's been said thousands of times, and it's extremely true, right? There's a reason why they don't lead the news with the kid who got a new puppy for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
They lead with the kid who is heartbroken because his puppy died on Christmas,
Yeah.
right? Because that brings you in. People
Yeah.
don't want to hear the good news. It's
Yeah.
just the way people are wired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense, and that's the thing that other people also don't remember, don't keep in mind, is that these news outlets are businesses. They have to make money. And I've talked about this countless times. It's just something that is going to happen. The best way, you think about extra, read all about it. The kids on the corner in 1920 who are, the late edition,
Yeah.
man strangles woman, whatever. And like, you think about, it's all about the headline. It's
Yeah.
always been all about the headline. There are people's jobs in the industry. Their job is a headline maker. That is what they do. They are specialists, right? And you think about what you watch on YouTube. It goes to YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
When when people talk about like, oh, how do you get seen on YouTube? It's thumbnails and titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the best headline makers, the best title makers on YouTube are the ones that are successful. The most trafficked websites are the ones that, you think about like BuzzFeed. How did BuzzFeed rise to prominence? Top 5 this, top 10 this, top whatever. You think about these things that they are definitives, right? That's how Screw Attack went from here on YouTube to here on YouTube. I changed all of our programming to what I call definitive programming. It's the best this person's going to win. The top 10 this. It was all built around strong opinion. This is what I think, and this is why it's, and that's how we went from 10 million views a month to 35 million views a month in a half a year.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
You won't believe what number 4 is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you click on it. And then here's a good way to know it's a business. When you click on the information that you want, and then it's really hard to find it because there's a gazillion ads popping up. Do you know why they're there? Like, it's not just there because they're giving away free ad space. So
yeah, exactly. And what's the alternative though? Right? A government run.
That's the thing. Obviously, a business is a business, but when you have an obligation as a business of truth, and you start to sensationalize things or interpret things to serve a certain agenda, it's not a good foundation.
See, that's the problem though. Is there's truth, and then there's your truth, my truth. This is the truth that I believe in, right? And that's how we've gotten to where we're at right now. Is you have a part of the country that believes a certain way, you have another part of the country that believes their way, and they both have their truths, right? Regardless of how historically accurate it is, regardless of what is real truth, it's all about how people perceive things, and they take their thoughts, and this is my truth, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your truth is, because this is for me. This is how I think.
It's really a childlike way of thinking. I deal with my kids all day. 3 of them going me, and I have to say, look, what you guys are doing is it's a very selfish way of thinking, and it's not right. You need to be, but like with the news, like everybody's just after what feeds their truth, whether it's true or not. It's kind of like that again with that lady that commented on my video today. Your video is so negative. It's trash. I'm like, well, I only put pictures in there that were real as a real reflection of the world. So I'm sorry it doesn't feed your reality of truth, but this is actually a picture of what it is. If you want to interpret it as negative trash,
right,
that's because it doesn't feed your personal agenda.
Executioners asks, how does a newspaper make money in today's world? Most of their business has moved online. Their there's newspaper subscriptions, just like you would pay for anything else. It's the exact same thing. You pay, a dollar a day for your paper. Obviously, they're not delivering a whole lot of papers. They've moved it online, and that's why newspapers have a lot of news outlets have shut down, because they've struggled moving from traditional prints to the internet and converting their existing base of paid users that were reading print to to online. And I think that's the thing that people don't realize is that those newspapers didn't just show up. They don't just show up. You paid for them every day, right?
Mhm.
That's the thing. And that's how the newspaper business and the news business became so big, right? Because their revenue lines wasn't just a subscription model. They were also selling advertisements because they're exorbitant user base, their high user base. And you think about when you go to when you get like the free if you do get something in your mail, like some sort of news, local newspaper or something, that is all built around like we get a local newspaper that's sent to us in our mail, right? And it's free,
Mhm.
but they want to say, well, we reach 60,000 people, whatever.
Mhm.
And they then sell that to the advertisers and say like,
Yeah.
okay, well, for X amount of dollars, you can reach 60,000 people in your demographic or in your area directly by offering this. It's a free product, So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's crazy. So,
Yeah.
it's funny because, some dumb one in here says, facts are lost somewhere on their way to someone's truth. Facts are lost somewhere on the way to someone's truth anymore.
Right.
Invader says, I don't give a damn about your truth or their truth. I want the truth. Right. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the issue, right? So
Yeah. Where's the truth?
no matter what you do, there will always be someone who will hate on it. You could save a kitten from frowning, and someone will still find a reason to shit on it. Yes, for sure, absolutely. Com says they live off clicks now. Get drawn in by a headline and feed off the advertising money. Yes, that's true. They tried to convert to a subscription model. Several of them did, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Executioner, thanks so much for the 100 bits for the knowledge. Appreciate that. That's awesome. But I legitimately, I would love to hear what y'all think is going to happen on the 20th. Do you think that 25,000, however many people are there, is justified? Do you guys have any feeling? Do you think it's going to be business as usual? Do you feel like something is going to happen tomorrow? Do you feel like we're all going to run to a civil war? And you asked, what does a civil war look like? It certainly doesn't look, it doesn't look like it did where there's battlefields. I think there's already there's a war happening, and most of it's online, and it's a mental civil war personally. But that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think about the way those guys look, back in World War I and World War II. And we've got our soldiers today. God bless those guys. But everybody else, the average Craig and Brad dude, what are we going to do if we can't just shake hands, man?
Filter says business as usual, at least for tomorrow. Tom comes in and says, if something happens, I strongly feel it's going to get exaggerated in the news reports. I hear that, man. I hear that. Invader says, yes, Craig, I was about to say the Civil War is already being fought online. Yeah, and I think that's also, you don't need to be a soldier of that. I've talked about that many times. Don't be a soldier. Just retreat. The fastest way to not be a soldier is just to delete your account. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, man. Mad Love Handle says, did they ever build that wall Trump wanted to build? I believe they did.
Yeah.
Did they? Yeah.
They did quite a many a mile on that thing.
It didn't get a whole lot of pub, I believe, but I know it's a big deal down here in Texas for sure. So, but yeah. So, and as Fed falls off, but let's get to the important matter at hand. What's wrong with Brad's internet?
Well, if you haven't watched the last few shows, my internet is not what you would call current. And when I tried to send a file to Craig the other day, during the live stream, which I went back and finally watched, I basically looked like an internet ghost from the 1990s. And my download speed and my upload speed are pretty sad. So we got to get me some new internet here in the town. And maybe I'll look a little bit more handsome, a little bit more high definition. See a little bit more of my pores. So we'll see what happens.
So it looks like they're as far as the wall, and real quick, Com says not to get political, but the wall was literal and metaphorical for sure. Okay. Negotiator says the wall is not finished and it will be stopped by the new administration for sure. Well, it looks like there's about 350 miles of the wall that was put up. Or I guess they're close to 550 miles of the wall, I guess, was put up.
550 miles.
Yeah. So according to this, just looking at this briefly, 15 miles of new barrier where none existed, 350 miles of replacement or secondary barrier, 221 under construction or replacement, and 157 of new primary or secondary. So that's in pre-construction. So, if negotiator is correct, then this will be scrapped. So it'll be about 350 something miles. So yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll see what happens. I think that's as much as our expertise can say.
Which is none, by the way.
Yeah, that's none. We have these long conversations just to sort of work our way back around to, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Hey,
Right.
Speaking of waiting and seeing, how many more days do we have to wait for the
Knight Rider?
Yeah, for Knight Rider auction.
It's this weekend.
Whew.
Yeah. So
Man.
pretty much on Sunday night, when we record, hopefully we'll get a knockout on Friday, which means we'll be able to record on Sunday night.
Mhm.
And on Sunday night, we should have a live auction.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to monitor that. So
yeah,
yes, it's gonna be good.
Sign up for Patreon so Craig and I can make some bids.
Well, first and foremost, we got to get you
David Hasselhoff's live. Of course, we need the internet. The internet's number one priority.
Yes.
Get on over there. Let's get the internet bumped up a few more notches. But then after that, the rest of it's going towards David Hasselhoff's underwear.
Go to patreon.com/CraigSkits and support the show there. Jake Dev says, I think the biggest issue with the U.S. Is that the U.S. doesn't have a common belief in what is moral. How are you supposed to maintain a common society when you can't agree on core issues? That's interesting, Jake. And I'll say this. I think that we've talked about this before in the past. If you live in California, you think differently than you do if you live in Florida, right? If you live in Oregon, you think differently than you do in Nebraska, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about having a country that is so wide and so big and so many different cultures in it. It's the beautiful thing of the United States. It's also the thing that gets us hung up most. But at the end of the day, the one thing that is supposed to be in all Americans' core values is the Constitution, right? And the Constitution is supposed to be, the core belief of every American. And that's the thing that allows you to think that way, that allows you to have those beliefs, that allows you to think and live in those cultures. And that's the common thread. And apparently that's not good enough anymore as it is. The Constitution isn't good enough. So
you know who I blame for everything?
Mm-hmm.
I blame Elvis.
Is that crazy rock and roll, wasn't it?
It was that crazy rock and roll. He went on TV swiveling his hips. Some people went, it's not so bad. Other people said it was the devil's work. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, look where we're at today.
It is what it is. It is what it is. God damn it, Elvis. All right, Mad Love, tell Mr. Mad Love I said hi. Say hi. All right, guys, that's going to do it today. We've gone almost an hour. What? Stop. Yeah. God, we need to stop. Okay, look, we'll see you guys later. Once again, we get knockouts during the 1 to 3 stream. We go live in the evening, and I actually very much enjoy doing these live because we get the instant feedback like this from Tople. It says Elvis was a red-blooded American. It was those Beatles that did it, right?
Those Beatles shaking their heads. Woo! Oh my gosh.
Fed, thanks so much for the 500 bits. Your bits are much appreciated, guys. They keep the show strong and alive. I'll see you guys tomorrow from 1 to 3. And once again, my streams are normal time, 1 to 3. We'll see how it goes, man. I could be live with just the camera tomorrow talking about things that are happening in the world. Who knows? We'll see. But I appreciate you guys popping in. If you're still watching on YouTube, give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and help grow this little podcast that we do on the day-to-day. I appreciate everybody. And thanks so much for your support, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Brad, you got anything else?
Don't forget the Bring It Back Challenge.
Yes, that's right.
Get on that. I want to see your submissions.
That's right. Go get on it. Go get on it. The Bring It Back Challenge. All right. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys later on. And we'll see you Monday through Friday, 1 to 3. And if we get those knockouts back here around 8:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Cool.